Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Engineer Sen Mwasabi. So in this video, we'll be looking at how to express a repeating decimal in the form of A over B. Now, in this case, A and B are integers. And B should never equal to 0, because if it is equal to 0, you have something that is undefined. All right, let's look at examples and see how best we can understand this concept. But before we do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. All right, say we have been asked to express repeating decimals in the form of A over B, where A and B are integers, and B should not equal to 0. Say we have the first question, which is 3.3 bar. Now, the 3 bar simply means that the number is ongoing, which means that this is 3.33333. It keeps on going just like that to a given point. Now, in order for you to solve these questions, there are steps that you have to follow. Step 1, you have to let the first question, or the question that you have, be equal to the first equation that you're going to create. So let the first equation equal to the original question. So I'll let x equal to what I have, 3.3 bar. And this will be my equation 1. The goal is to push the number with the bar to the left-hand side of the decimal point, step by step. The moment that number is pushed to the left-hand side of the decimal place, then you can apply basic algebra and you will get the form in which you want. Now you need to ask yourself what number you should multiply to remove the repeating number, or the number with the bar to the front. In my case, I'm having x is equal to 3.3 bar. Now, what number can I multiply this entire equation with to move the 3 bar to the left-hand side of the equation? That number is 10, so I'll say times 10. Now, multiplying throughout by 10 simply means I have 10x being equal to 3, because the 3 bar is now on the left-hand side of the equation, so I'll remove the bar. Now, once that bar value has moved to the left-hand side of the decimal point, you just have to repeat the repeating number again and say 3 bar. And this will be equation number 2. Remember, first push the bar value to the left-hand side of the decimal point by asking yourself what number you can use to multiply that in order for it to be pushed. Once it's pushed, repeat the decimal point and repeat the repeating number, because the numbers will just keep on going. Now, the moment you have these equations, equation 1 and equation 2, it's not necessary that you always have equation 1 and equation 2. You can have a good number of equations depending on the steps that you are taking in order to push that repeating value, or the bar value. Now, once we have equation number 2, the next thing we're supposed to do is simply multiply, so not multiply, subtract the first equation from the second equation. Therefore, we're going to be having 10x is equal to 33.3 bar, this is equation number 2, minus equation number 1, which is x being equal to 3.3 bar. I prefer putting it like this, it's easier to manipulate with. So 10x minus x, this will give you 9x being equal to 3 bar minus 3 bar, this portion will give you 0. 0.3 minus 3, that's 0. then this is basically that you have 0 there. So this will be 3. So you have 30.0. Now, once you have 9x being equal to 30, all you have to do is to solve the equation. Solve for x. Now here you're having for 9x. So you divide both sides by 9 in order to have x. So you have x being equal to 30 over 9. And this is your answer. Now there are times where they would ask you to say express a repeating decimal in the form of a over b, where a and b are integers and are co-prime factors. Now what that implies is that they just want you to put a single fraction you have found into its lowest term. So all you have to do is to ask yourself what number can go into 30 and 9 without leaving a remainder, and that number is basically 3. So you have x being equal to 10 over 3. And this will be the form in which you've been asked to find, because it should be in the form of a over b, and you have a numerator over a denominator. Now we're not going to end here. Let us look at another example to clearly understand the concept. Say you have a repeating decimal fraction as 1.24. So the first step is to let the initial question equal to the first equation. So I will let x be equal to 1.24 bar. So this is my equation number 1. Once I have the first equation, I then have to put the bar number to the left-hand side of the decimal point. And I have to do that bit by bit or step by step. I know you might be thinking that you can multiply this by 100 in order to just push it literally in front directly, but we don't follow that procedure. Rather, we move it step by step. So the first job that you need is to push the bar mark to the place where there is 2, because you want to push it to the left-hand side. Therefore, you have x being equal to 1.24 bar, and ask yourself, what number can I multiply in order to push 4 bar to the next step? Now, it's not always that you will always be multiplying. Like in our case, I have to multiply by 10. We multiply, I'm using 10 because I'm only having 4 under the bar mark. This is the bar mark. But if I had, let's say, 2 numbers like 21, I wouldn't have been multiplying by 10. I would have been multiplying, like, say, by 100. Because these are 2 numbers. If I had 3 numbers, I would have been multiplying by 1,000. Just like that. That's the entire concept I'm trying to elaborate. So, push the bar mark value 1 step to the left. So I'll multiply by 10. So I have 10x being equal to 12.4 bar. This is equation number 2. Now we have not attained the goal yet. The goal is to push the bar mark number to the left-hand side of the decimal point. So I'm having 10x being equal to 12.4 bar. So I'm supposed to look for a number I can multiply by this equation in order to push the bar mark number to the left-hand side of the decimal point. And that number is basically 10. So if I multiply by 10, I'll be having 100x being equal to 124 point. I have to repeat the repeating number because it keeps on going. So this will be 4 bar. And this will be equation number 3. So you multiply the previous equation. Sorry, you subtract the previous equation from the final equation. So here the previous equation is equation number 2. The final equation is equation number 3. So I'm going to be having 100x being equal to 124.4 bar, that I'll subtract 10x from it, which is having 12.4 bar, like that. Now 100x minus 10x, this will give us 90x. Then 124.4 bar minus 12.4 bar, this will basically give us 0 here then we have the 2, 1, and 1. So we have 90x being equal to 112. We need to solve for x. So we divide both ends by 90. And we have our x value being equal to 112 over 90. Now we can't end here. We have to simplify this. Now looking for a number, I can go into these values, which is basically 2. If 2 goes into 112, we get 56. And when 2 goes into 90, we get 45. And that is our expression that we need. Looking at example number 3, say we have 3.312 bar. Now here the bar is above two values, which is 1 and 2. You can always pause the video and try to attempt to do this question on your own, or we can move together. Now, in order to solve this, we let x be equal to the initial question, which is 3.312 bar. So this is equation number 1. The goal is to push the bar mark values to the left-hand side of the decimal point. So I will ask myself to say, what number can I multiply with in order to push the bar mark a step to the left? Now I have to multiply by 10. So x is equal to 3.312 bar. I'll multiply by 10. I'm only multiplying by 10 simply because I want to push the 3 to go to the left hand side of the decimal point, so that I can have the repeating bar mark value just before the decimal place. You'll see where the multiplying by 100 or 1000 comes in. So this will be 10x being equal to 33.12 bar. So this is equation number 2. Now, once you have equation number 2, you still have the bar mark value there. The goal is to push it to the left-hand side of the decimal point. Now, you are having 10x being equal to 33.12 bar. So you are going to multiply this by a number that will allow you to push 1 and 2 to the left-hand side of the decimal point. Now you're having two numbers underneath the bar. So you can't multiply by 10, because if you multiply by 10, the 1 and 2 will not move, because it's 1 and 2 that is repeating. It's like you have dot 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, just like that. So you will multiply by 100. If you had 3 values underneath, you'd multiply by 1000. If you had 4, just like that, just keep on adding the zeros. So if you do that, you will get 10,000 x is equal to 3312.12 bar. And this will be equation number 3. Now, subtracting the previous from the final, you will have 10,000x being equal to 3312.12 bar. Then you subtract 10x being equivalent to 33.12 bar. If you apply the math, or you could always do it by the side. It doesn't really hurt to do it by the side. So you can do it by the side, having 3312.12, then having 33.12. You have a zero there. Get a number from that. You have that, so that will give us what? 9. So you have 0, so you get one with the binaries there. So that will be a 10, subtracting 3, 7, 2, 3. So we'll have here, this will give us 990x being equal to, this will give us 3279.2 0, 0. So we're having 990x being equal to 3279. Solving for x, we have to divide by 990, even this side 990. Therefore, x will give us 3279 over 990. And this will be our answer. Now we can reduce this by looking for a number that can go into these values, which is basically 3. And if 3 goes into these values, you have 1093 over 330 as your value of x. So basically all you have to do is simply just keep on pushing the repeating value over and over again. Say you have 4.321, then you have 3 numbers underneath the bar. Now to solve this, all we have to do is to let x be equal to what you initially have, which is 4.321 bar. So this is equation number 1. So you don't really have any other number here, which is not underneath the bar, to be pushed this side. So you just ask yourself, what number will you multiply with to push these values to the left hand side of the decimal point? And that number is 1000. So you will have 1000 x being equal to 4321.321 bar. And this would be equation number 2. Subtracting the previous from the final, you have 1000x being equal to 4321.321, then subtracting x being equal to 4.321. Now subtracting this from that, you will get 999x being equal to, now this will give us a 0 this side, point. So that will give us surely a 1. Then that will give us 7134. So we're having 999x being equal to 4317. Dividing both sides by 999, even this side 999, you will get the value of x to be equivalent to 4317 over 999. And this will basically be your final answer, but you can always reduce this. The number I can go here is 3. Even here we have 3. Therefore, x is equal to, this would be 1439 over 333. Now, this could be a bit of a handful, but as you keep on trying how to solve this, you get a hang of it and you understand. Let's look at the last example. Say we have minus 2.4 bar. So we have a negative value. All we have to do is to just apply the same procedure. So let x be equal to minus 2.4 bar, and this will be equation number 1. After that, you have x being equal to minus 2.4 bar. Ask yourself, what number will you multiply to push the repeating number to the left hand side of the decimal point, which is 10 in this case. So you have 10x being equal to minus 24, which is 24 now, 0.4 bar. And this is basically equation 2. Then subtracting this, you'll get 10x being equal to minus 24.4 bar, then x being equal to minus 2.4 bar. Now be mindful that we are subtracting. So when I say minus, 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 it means we have a plus here. So it will still apply the concept that we're trying to push in. So applying that concept, we get a 0 this side, and then we'll get a 2 and a minus 2. Then this side you get 9x. So we're having 9x being equal to minus 22. So we can solve for x, divide by 9, and x is equal to minus 22 over 9. And basically cannot reduce this furthermore. This is our final answer. So this is literally how you go about solving these questions on repeating decimal fractions. All right, if you have queries, you can reach me on WhatsApp on the line 077 149 5252. Remember, slow progress is better than no progress. And let's strategize before becoming a statistic. Let's push for that A+.